There was once a humble nun chosen for an extraordinary mission. Jesus entrusted her with a request meant for the whole world, that the Pope consecrate the entire universe to his Sacred Heart. Hidden in suffering, prayer, and obedience, she carried this message faithfully. Through her courage and trust, heaven's desire reached the throne of the Church, and history would never be the same. As requested by Jesus, Blessed Maria Droste sought and eventually obtained a formal papal consecration of the entire universe to the Sacred Heart of Jesus on June 11, 1899. Her mission fulfilled. She died at 3 p.m. on Thursday, just 3 days before Pope Leo XIII would make the solemn consecration, after the Pope himself was miraculously healed through her intercession. Maria Droste zu Vischering was born on September 8, 1863 in Münster, Germany, one of 7 children of Count and Countess Clement Droste zu Vischering. Even as a child, Maria had a fiery spirit. Her brothers and sisters jokingly called her the little wildcat, because when upset, she could bite, scratch, and spit. Yet beneath that strong nature was a heart full of mercy. She could not bear to see anyone suffer. From a young age, she loved visiting the poor and sick whenever her parents allowed it. At age 15, she entered a convent school led by the Sisters of the Sacred Heart at Riedenberg. There she grew in love for the Sacred Heart of Jesus. During that time, she also became seriously ill with pneumonia, forcing her to return home. In a letter, she shared that she believed God allowed this so she could spend time with her family and repair the selfishness of earlier years. Maria often hid her sickness and inner struggles from others, but unknown to many, she was already receiving deep graces from the Lord that filled her soul with peace. After receiving Holy Communion on the Feast of the Sacred Heart, Jesus said to her, "You will be the bride of my heart." Maria was stunned and humbled by these words. She knew her faults and weaknesses and felt unworthy of such love. After 7 years of waiting, at age 26, Maria finally entered the convent of the Good Shepherd Sisters in Münster on November 21, 1888, and on January 10, 1889, she received the religious habit. Her joy was great when she learned the name chosen for her, Maria of the Divine Heart. Her duties included welcoming visitors and caring for the young girls entrusted to the sisters. She had a gentle and joyful way with the children and always gave credit to the Sacred Heart of Jesus. Yet Maria longed for a deeper prayer life and wondered how to unite contemplation with constant work. During the Holy Week of 1890, Jesus answered her personally, "When you work, I work through you. When you rest, I rest in you. In everything you do, it shall not be you, but me within you. I see with your eyes, work with your hands, speak with your mouth, and I pray through you." In 1894, she was sent to Portugal and made superior of the convent in Porto. The house had many difficulties, weak discipline, little devotion, and serious financial troubles. But under Maria's loving guidance, everything began to change. Soon, the people of Porto spoke of the holy nun from Germany, and many came asking her for prayers. Children especially loved her and trusted her like a mother. She delighted in teaching them songs, games, and little plays. Caring for sick children herself became one of her greatest joys. All her life, Maria burned with love for the heart of Jesus. She saw his heart as light for the whole world, an ocean of compassion and mercy. She called herself an apostle of his heart and wanted to lead every soul to Christ. Then in Porto, Jesus revealed a new mission. He desired that the Pope consecrate the whole universe to his Sacred Heart. On June 4, 1898, Maria told her confessor in surprise, "The Lord gave me the directive to write to the Holy Father with a request to dedicate the whole of humankind to the Sacred Heart." After careful guidance from her spiritual director, she wrote to Pope Leo XIII in June of 1898 and again in January of 1899. The Pope had already felt inspired to dedicate the whole world to Jesus. In early 1899, he approved public use of the Litany of the Sacred Heart. Yet Maria's letters encouraged him to go further and consecrate the whole world. By then, Maria was gravely ill. She was paralyzed and her organs were failing. She suffered intense pain and harsh treatments, yet remained cheerful and peaceful. Even from her bed, she continued guiding the convent and writing letters. The people of Porto believed their suffering superior was a saint. Many came to seek her prayers. She helped save marriages, arranged baptisms and first communions, found work for the needy, cared for families, and inspired priests to return to their first love of vocation. Soon after Corpus Christi, Maria learned from the newspapers that the Pope had announced he would consecrate the world to the Sacred Heart on June 11, 1899, after 3 days of prayer. In that same document, he mentioned being healed from a dangerous illness. Privately, he credited Sister Maria's intercession. The Pope had even told Maria's parents in a private audience that their daughter was this chosen soul. Maria rejoiced when she heard the news. She began planning a solemn celebration in the convent for the Feast of the Sacred Heart, but God had prepared something greater. Her mission completed on Thursday afternoon, June 8, 1899, at about 3 p.m. Jesus called Maria from this world. At that very hour, the sisters in the chapel had begun first Vespers of the Triduum for the consecration of the world to the Sacred Heart. 3 days later, from heaven, she would witness the fulfillment of the mission entrusted to her by Christ Himself. Out of love for Jesus and for souls, Maria gave everything: her homeland, her family, her strength, and her whole self. May Blessed Maria Droste inspire us to trust in the Sacred Heart of Jesus and give our lives completely to His love. Blessed Maria Droste, pray for us.